Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today, as you're only getting one video today. Don't worry, we might be back with the doubles tomorrow, so make sure you guys are here for that one. The days are ticking because Chelsea's quarterfinal, flipping now. We're in the semi-final, Younes. Yes, we're actually playing a semi-final of a tournament. Second leg, Middlesbrough. Chelsea at the Bridge on Tuesday. So Monday will be the match preview for that, the first match preview that we've done in a little while. So anyway, that will all be coming. Make sure that you guys are subscribed over here if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Today, quite a bit to discuss. We're going to start off on a very interesting topic, and then we're going to move to a couple of other things before we round off the video with the non-Chelsea stuff and Afcon, latest happening over there. I know the Nigerians are going to be fully interested in what I have to say here, so don't worry, at the end I will talk about it. Let's get cracking. Starting off with Chelsea Football Club. There's a manager available. Put two and two together. What do you get? Well, you get the latest coming out of The Athletic. Check this out. Jose Mourinho would appeal to the Chelsea owners, Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital. I still see Chelsea as being a home for him. The prospect of a third act in a city that has become his home, it would be enticing. On top of that, we have it's such an irresistible big lever that Chelsea's owners can pull in bringing Jose Mourinho back. The chances of at least one of Todd Boehly or Bedelik Bali wanting to pull it at some point in the next year or two are high. And then we'd end up with a third version of this. I gotta be honest here, I'm a bit confused. Yeah, I'm confused. You've heard that right. You know, I should be going, yeah, absolutely, come on, flipping happy. I'm confused. No, I'm confused. Have I read this correctly? Mourinho would appeal to these Chelsea owners. Are we living in some sort of alternative universe or something? What's happened here? Something's not right. Has the simulation been broken? Am I on the same page as these owners on something? Unbelievable. Listen, you know me by now. I'm absolutely all for it, and I'm all for having a manager of a certain level that I know is going to bring some sort of a bit of pedigree back to this football club. Do you know what I mean? And look, on top of that, we have to be honest, it's Mourinho as well, on top of that. Just because of who he is as well, it helps. Do you know what I mean? If it was anyone else, you'd have a debate about it, but it's Jose, you know? It's in the heart. So when it comes to this, if the owners are considering this, and they would be happy to do it, well, finally, all right, we're on board with something together. Fantastic. Happy days. All right. So, look, the Athletic did say that it would more than likely be at some point within the next year or two. I'm not so sure he's going to be available in a year or two, but he's available now. Obviously, not saying go and get him tomorrow. You know, if it is going to be end of the season, we finish the season with Poch, cool, we better pray he's still out of a job. Or if you're going to do something, get in touch with him now and get something prepared for the summer just in case. Tell him to keep himself free. You know, because if there's one club that I think he would do that for, it's Chelsea. So listen, let's wait and see what happens come the summer. I didn't think, I'll be honest, I've wanted Jose for sure. I honestly, deep down, didn't think that the owners would be somewhat interested. Turns out they are. Well, flipping fantastic. You know, I didn't think it was possible. Great. So let me know your thoughts down below. Let's move to some of the players and the situations of their time at Chelsea, starting with Armando Broja. I want to say, is it conflicting information or is it not conflicting information? But let's get into it. Here's the latest on Broja from Nizar Kinsella. Armando Broja's reported £50 million asking price is considered overinflated by interested clubs who value the Albania international at between 30 to 40 million pounds. Look, when it comes to this, if the owners have actually done this, fair play. Because we got to be real. On a financial level, if you're willing to sell something, you have to overinflate the asking price. You have to. That's logical. Because if not, you're then going to negotiate for a price that's lower than what you want. But if you come up with a price that's a little bit too high, well, you'll end up coming down to a level that you wanted in the first place. I don't feel like Chelsea know it's possible. Well, I don't feel like Chelsea, not to say they would ever turn it down, they wouldn't. But I don't feel like they ever expect anyone to pay 50 million for Broja. But they're going to say 50 million. That way we can get 40. Do you know what I mean? And that's basic economics, basic business strategy. So when it comes to this, if clubs are actually looking at his valuation and going, no, yeah, we'll pay 40, not a problem, then Chelsea are still winners in this. But, how is this going to work? Are we just going to sell Broja outright, no problem, no matter what, or not? Well, Matt Law has had something to say. Here it is. Nothing will happen with Armando Broja unless Chelsea have a replacement lined up. So, to be honest, this makes sense. And I wouldn't want to let go of Broja just for the sake of getting 40 or 50 million in, even though I've said you can't turn that down, but you have to replace. You have to. We can't be left with just Nicholas Jackson as the only striker for the rest of the season. We just can't do that, man. So, yeah. Are we going to be selling him no matter what the price? Or are we going to be selling him if we do have a replacement ready? These are the two sides. And they can coexist, but will they coexist? Or is it one or the other? Let me know down below what you think. Personally, I'd like to think logic is prevailing here. And we are looking to a certain price, but we are looking for replacements just in case. So that's how I would hope things are moving. Who are we going to go and get if we do get a replacement? Well, check this out from Nizar Kinsella. Karim Benzema and Roberto Firmino are available on short-term deals from Saudi Arabia, but do not fit into the profile of player Chelsea have targeted, and both would demand huge salaries. First and foremost, the huge salary thing, as far as I'm concerned, is a myth. That Benzema's earning 3.2 million in Saudi. Like I said yesterday, he knows that he has to take a 90% wage cut if he even wants to move away from that club. No one's going to pay that. No one's even going to pay close to that. Listen, you're going to have to, it's not even 90, mate. It's going to be more because listen, you take a 90% pay cut. It means, if my maths are correct, that you are taking 10% of what you're currently making. If you're taking 10% of what you're currently making, that's still 320 grand a week. Oh my God, mate. Not even, listen, who's our highest earner? Sterling. He's not on that, I'm pretty sure. Or is he? Is he on 300? But I don't think he's on 320. Anyway, It's crazy. It's crazy money that he's earning at Saudi. So he would be foolish to think that he's going to get anything close. He has to take a severe pay cut to not play in Saudi. So this is where Chelsea, and not just Chelsea, anyone, because apparently there's clubs interested across London. I'm guessing only Arsenal. Tottenham don't even get into this conversation. But listen, even the other clubs would be looking at this and going, no, we're not paying like 200, we're not even going to pay 250k. Like, we're happy to pay maybe up to 200k. You have to remember, he's 36 as well. Is he 35, 36, somewhere there? So listen, top striker for the next few months, I would absolutely take, and I would pay that salary, no problem at all, as a stopgap, cool. But that's it. And if he wants that, he needs to understand he's going to need to not pay a lot of money either. But, that's the money side. This from Nizar said that they do not fit into the profile of player Chelsea have targeted. So who are we targeting? Players that don't score goals, or what's going on here? How does Benzema not fit into your profile of player? How does that, how? I know people are going to go, oh, no, you know, the age. I'm not talking about the age. When I hear profile of player, I'm not just thinking about how young the player is, but what the player does and what he can do and what he's capable of. Mate, you can't get better than a Benzema up top. You can't. Except for Erling Haaland or Harry Kane. Or Victor Osimhen if you're going to stick him in that conversation. That's actually debatable at the moment amongst the fan base because of Afcon. We'll see. But come on. The guy scores goals. We need goals. That's the profile I need. Job done. What more? Why overcomplicate it? So let me know your thoughts down below on that. Now the latest on Conor Gallagher. What's happening here? Conor Gallagher has ruled out a January exit, but could leave in the summer when he will have 1 year left on his contract. Now, we will further that up with this. Conor Gallagher is set to reject any opportunities to leave Chelsea this month should the club sanction a sale. This is where I've said before, the power is in his hands because it's his contract. He can run it down until it finishes, not a problem. If he wants to. And as long as Pochettino is here and he's playing, power's in his hands. Now, if we get a manager that doesn't want to play Conor Gallagher, different story. That's the point where I think he would start considering his future, right? And he would start thinking, okay, what am I going to do? But right now, he's playing and he's been given the armband at times. What more does he want? So he'll happily just run down the contract. Not a problem. I want to stay at Chelsea for now. Great. So this is where, for this month, the player has the power absolutely. Unless something were to happen to Pochettino, which is looking unlikely, at least in the transfer window, it's not going to happen. So this is where I believe now Conor will stay because it's his decision. Even if the club wanted to sell, they can't. Because you need the okay from the player. So Conor Gallagher definitely staying as far as I'm concerned. I think he will be sticking here for this month and beyond. Until the end of the season, this is where it all gets very interesting. Because at the end of the season, we don't know what's going to happen. So let me know your thoughts. Or even before that, we have to be honest. If results become untenable, maybe a change is made. Well, at that point, Conor starts to think, oh, okay, now where do I stand? Bit of uncertainty. So any move that were to happen, I think will more than likely happen in the summer. And I believe it will happen because it's pure profit. But in the summer is where it's probably looking like it's going to go down. So that's the latest on Conor, and fair play, to him, and I hope that he can. Because honestly, look, with Conor, I remember when I was criticising him and he wasn't playing like how I wanted him to play, and all of that. I was on his case, Conor. You guys remember, and then he stepped it up, and he's gotten better and better and better. He's nowhere near the finished article yet. And with the players that we have in our squad at the moment, he stands out. If we had a top team, like I said, he'd probably be a squad player. But right now he's not, and he's standing out. You could argue definitely he's not as good as Enzo or Caicedo if we're talking on the ball. But the whole package in terms of what he brings to that midfield right now, no one else is bringing. So this is where I honestly do think that as long as he can keep up the trajectory, keep getting better and better and better. Joe Cole spoke on the John Obi Mikel podcast and said something very, very interesting. He said that he could go down the same route as Henderson did for Liverpool. That's a very good observation, because I remember I used to criticise Henderson. I used to be like, this guy's rubbish, man. He's his pants. And then under Klopp, he started just becoming more and more important. He didn't look flashy, he didn't look unbelievable, but he just became more and more important to the system. Now, right now at Chelsea, it doesn't look like we really have a system. But with Liverpool and Henderson, he became a key. And it worked. And he got better and better and better to the point where he just became efficient. Like I said, he wasn't flashy or technical or anything like that, but you needed Henderson in that midfield. You needed it. Conor, Joe Cole, reckons could go in that same direction. So as long as you just keep progressing, he'll get there. Let's wait and see. Let me know your thoughts on that debate that Joe Cole put forth, because it's a very interesting one and definitely a very good example that I didn't think of. So fair play to Joe Cole for that. Now, let's move away from Chelsea before we wrap up. Manchester City. This is interesting. Check this out. Ex-Manchester City financial advisor Stefan Borson said, there's no question, if those charges are proven, the 115 charges, this will end in at least relegation. The scale is on a completely different level. This is ex-Man City financial advisor here, you know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with City here. I'm starting to think that something big could happen. Something big could happen. We'll see. Look, they deserve a fair trial. They deserve to be heard and deemed if they're innocent or they're guilty. We don't know. Till now, we don't know. So we can't speculate. But the consequences that could arise from this, if they are found guilty, sounds like it's going to be a madness. So we will stay tuned. We will be there. We'll be there. So that's Man City. Let me know what you think. Important regulation has now been approved by FIFA. This is a welcome announcement. Check this out. Huge development for VAR. Audio from decisions now set to be aired live in stadiums and for viewers. This has been approved by FIFA, and the first country that's going to be testing this out is Portugal. This was from Record Portugal. I know they've not got a nice reputation, but it's been confirmed that the Portuguese FA have taken it on board, and I think the Portuguese league will be the first one to test this out. And then other countries will more than likely follow. I am very, very happy for this. Please let us hear every single word that these, as far as I'm concerned, clowns that have been operating as referees have to say. Yeah, we need to hear every word. We need to hear every word. Now, not all referees are clowns. I'll give them that. But most of them, with their dodgy decisions left, right, and centre. So I am very much looking forward to hearing these conversations. Bring it on, and we get to see exactly how it's going to work in Portugal before it starts spreading everywhere else. So stay tuned for that. Afcon. Before we wrap up. Interesting developments today in relation to Afcon. We had Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. Funnily enough, those countries are not actually next to each other. I thought that they were next to each other, but they're not. Guinea-Bissau is West Africa, and Equatorial Guinea is, I think what used to be a part of the old Congo. So, that's Central Africa. But games were played earlier on, and Equatorial Guinea destroying Guinea-Bissau 4-2. It was 4-1, very convincingly. Second half came out all guns blazing like a different team, and they managed to get 3 goals in the space of, I'm actually going to check this. They got 3 goals in the space of 15 minutes. 15 minutes, they got 3 goals and to make it 4-1 after going in at halftime 1-1. So, very interesting game there. But the big game that everyone is talking about, also last night, DR Congo against Zambia finished 1-1. So that is... doesn't do much for Group F, except Morocco are sitting top of that, and Congo and Zambia are second and third. But we had Ivory Coast and Nigeria. This was the big game today, and we've got Ghana and Egypt that are currently playing too, and I will talk about that tomorrow because I'm not going to wait until the game's finished to give you an opinion on that. But Nigeria and Ivory Coast, I'm surprised. I genuinely thought Ivory Coast would win, and I thought they would win because home advantage. But they did not use their home advantage. The first half, they looked like the better team, Ivory Coast. But the second half, they just went flat. I was surprised. They were showing enough intensity in that first half. And I thought, okay, they looked the more likely side. Nigeria, Victor Osimhen missing one opportunity that he really should have buried or at least worked the keeper, and he didn't. But apart from that, I saw Fofana, the central defender, having a fantastic game. Diomande was having a decent game up until when he conceded the penalty on Victor Osimhen. You could argue that was soft. It was soft, but by the letter of the law, it's a penalty. It's a penalty. Contact was made, he kicked him in the leg, albeit it was soft, but he kicked him in the leg and there was no ball. It's a pen. Osimhen's gone down, it's a penalty. Steps up, central defender stepped up. Who was it that scored? It was Ekong who stepped up, centre-back. I thought Osimhen would take it, but this guy rocked up, he's captain to be fair to him, and took the responsibility, smashed it right down the middle to make it 1-0. And it was at this point where Nigeria it looked like they started to play with some confidence. Up until that point, they weren't really playing with confidence. Even Nigeria were looking fairly average up until that point. But when they went 1-0 up, you could see chests a bit more open, bit more command on the ball. And then tactically, albeit I think the manager doesn't quite sit well with Nigeria. This is the vibe that I'm getting. It looks like the setup that he has just isn't very efficient. It seems like Nigeria are lacking in midfield. But, I don't know, tactically it just seems like Nigeria are not right. But towards the end, to protect the lead, tactically, he did set Nigeria up in a way to just protect the 1-0, and he got the job done. And fair play for that, because you need to be winning at tournaments. It's not really about performance, it's about result. At a tournament is a tournament. So, especially a tournament of this magnitude, that's the most important thing. You have to get out the group, and then it starts getting serious. So, Nigeria taking the win, and in the end it's deserved, and they currently sit joint top with Equatorial Guinea on 4 points, and the Ivory Coast on 3 points, because they did win their first game, and Guinea-Bissau sat there bottom with no points. If I'm not mistaken, it's no points. So there we are. That's the latest. Ghana and Egypt, as it stands right now, are 0-0. Again, I expect Egypt to win this one, but you never know. You never know. So let's wait and see what happens. And I will be here tomorrow to let you guys know what I think on it all. So I'll see all of you then. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on everything that I've discussed, from Mourinho to Broja to Gallagher to Man City to VAR to Afcon. Let me know down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. And I will see all of you tomorrow. In a bit, people. See you then. Take care and peace.